The footage had been playing for 9 years before anyone looked at the wrong part of the screen. Not because the right part wasn't horrifying. It was. Commander Yara Selen, alone in a burning corridor, fighting 8 Drevathi with nothing but a thruster wrench and the kind of stubbornness that doesn't have a clinical name. The Drevathi were 9 feet of calcium-latticed nightmare that moved like a single organism because, neurologically, they were. They poured through the breached bulkhead like smoke that had learned to kill. Solen dropped 11 of them before her feed went dark. No body was ever recovered. Every cadet at the Galactic Defense Institute watched that footage on induction day. 90 of them in Hall 9. Most of them 18. Most of them still carrying the smell of home. They watched Solen fight. They went pale or they went rigid, and either way they came out the other side changed. Cadet Rhen Solas came out asking about the person in the back. She had grown up on Vantara Station, where the power grid failed twice a week and you learned to read error codes the way other kids read bedtime stories. Her mother called it a curse. Always noticing the thing nobody else noticed, always pulling at the thread everyone else stepped over. At the 14-minute mark, 3 seconds before Solen's feed cut to permanent black, Rhen's eyes drifted left. Utility passage, half collapsed. And inside it, standing completely still, a human figure. Not fighting, not hiding, not running, watching. The lights came up. Instructor Voss moved through the rows. He reached Rhen, and she was still looking at the blank screen. She told him what she saw. She gave him the timestamp, the quadrant, the frame count. His expression did not change. She would think about that face for a long time. Not what she had found. What his face refused to do when she told him. Night 5, Archive Room. She pulled the original source file, not the version they showed in the hall, the real one, unedited, uncompressed, metadata still breathing underneath the surface. She had been picking digital locks since she was 9. This one took her 40 minutes. She enhanced the left quadrant, ran noise reduction twice. The figure resolved. Human. Absolutely human. Environmental suit of no design she could match to any catalog. Standing 40 meters behind the Drevathi assault, untouched by the chaos consuming everything around them, watching Commander Solen die in a fight that was already over before it started. Rhen ran the metadata. Standard timestamp. Standard coordinates. Then a second layer, formatted in a protocol that did not exist at the time the footage was recorded, and inside it, 23 words. When you can read this, you are ready. Find the one who noticed first. The war is not what you think it is. She filed a formal inquiry. Polite language, proper channels. Timestamp, quadrant, manifest discrepancy. The automated response came in 5 hours. No discrepancy found. File closed. The human response came in 9 minutes. Report to Commander Fenn, 0600, come alone. Commander Aldrich Fenn was 63 years old and had a prosthetic right hand he never tried to hide, and the kind of stillness that doesn't come from peace. It comes from having stood next to enough catastrophe that surprise becomes a luxury you stop affording yourself. He placed a printed card on the table between them, the 23 words. And below them, a second line she had not found in the metadata. Find the one who noticed first. Give her this. That line wasn't in the file, Rhen said. No, Fenn said. It was encoded in the physical grain of the original storage medium, a layer no digital scan would reach. It required a scanner that didn't exist until 2 years ago. He folded his hands on the desk. Whoever left it knew what tools would exist 9 years later. They built the message for those tools. And then they waited. Rhen said, "That's not possible. They couldn't have known." Fenn said, "No, they couldn't have. We have been trying to understand that for 9 years." He told her she was the 31st person to notice the figure, The previous 30 had been analysts, senior officers, one decorated admiral. None of them had found the second layer. None of them had been given the card. "You found it in your second week," he said. "The previous record was 4 years." The room was very quiet. "The message says find the one who noticed first," Rhen said. "That's me." Yes, they knew it would be me. Fen looked at her steadily. Yes, and we don't know how. And that is the part that should keep you up at night, because it keeps every person in this facility up at night, and we are very experienced people. The briefing took 72 hours. She will not recount all of it. The short version: the Drevathi did not attack the Ashveil without reason. There was an object in cargo hold, 4 kilograms, crystalline, pale as old ice, listed as inert geological sample, origin unknown, placed aboard before departure by a party no manifest could identify. The Drevathi had tracked it across 5 light years to destroy it before anyone found it. Commander Solen died because she got close enough to see what it was. Dr. Sable Oren, lead investigator, called it a fixed point, a location in space-time that cannot be altered regardless of what moves around it. Whatever happens around it, the moment it anchors always happened. Always will have happened. The battle, the footage, the figure standing still in the passage, all of it permanent, unremovable, written into the structure of what occurred. Someone built a breadcrumb trail into the bedrock of history, Rhen said on hour 3 of the briefing. Dr. Oren stopped, looked at her, looked at Fen. "We have been investigating this for 9 years, Oren said slowly. "That is the clearest anyone has ever stated it. The Drevathi are not the enemy. They were once 300 years ago before something came and unmade their home territory so completely that they abandoned 3 centuries of history and ran. They have been running ever since. They tried to destroy the anchor because they believed humanity wasn't ready." The figure in the footage disagreed. Every projection puts the arrival at approximately 35 years from now. 35 years to understand what the Drevathi spent 3 centuries running from. 35 years to read what the anchor contains, encoded in the same layered system as the metadata, each layer requiring technology that didn't exist yet when the previous one was left, a chain of messages designed to be opened in sequence as humanity grew into the tools to open them. The figure couldn't interfere with the battle. Whatever rules govern temporal movement, direct intervention isn't permitted. But leaving evidence? Encoding a message across 9 layers of increasing depth, trusting that one specific person would find each one in sequence? Apparently that was allowed. She is writing this the night before she goes into the anchor room for the first time. She thinks about Commander Solen, who died not knowing she was the centerpiece of a message that would take 9 years to deliver. She thinks about 30 people who saw the figure and stopped there. She thinks about what it means to trust someone across a decade, to stand in the background of a tragedy you cannot prevent, to watch someone die, knowing that if you saved her, you would erase the record you came to create, and to believe, against everything, that the right person would eventually look at the edge of the frame. She thinks about her mother calling it a curse. After Fen left the room, she turned the card over. On the back, in handwriting too deliberate to be accidental, was one line that had not been there before. She read it, set the card down carefully, looked at the pale crystal rotating slowly on the display across the room. Then she picked up her bag. And somewhere 9 years away, fixed forever in a burning corridor on a ship that no longer exists, the figure in the back of the footage, finally, after all that waiting, looked away from the battle. Because they had never come to watch the battle. They had come to watch for her. The war is not what you think it is, but the people fighting it are exactly who you'd hope.